What's up, gamers? It's Above, and what a day it is to be a Guardian. The 30th anniversary has dropped, and we have so much to dive into. In this video, we'll be covering how to complete the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, and how to obtain the Gjallarhorn exotic rocket launcher inside of Destiny 2. If you guys find this guide useful, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. Now let's get into it. Starting things off, this dungeon has some of, if not the best loot that we've ever seen from a dungeon. Rewards include returning D1 fan favorites Eyesluna, 1,000-Yard Stare, the Matadore, and the Hero of Ages. Incredible looking Thorn-themed armor, and the most famous exotic in Destiny's history, the Gjallarhorn. As for team comp, you can pretty much run whatever you'd like, but this is definitely a run-and-gun type dungeon where ad clear reigns supreme. Things like Revenant, Bottom Tree Dawn, Bottom Tree Hammers, Well of Radiance, and Thunder Crash are all quite strong. As for armor mods, I recommend the usual Taking Charge and Protective Light for survivability, Particle Deconstruction and Focusing Lens for DPS, and Passive Guard if you decide to use swords, which are extremely strong in this dungeon in my opinion. Some of the top weapon choices are the newly buffed Sleeper Simulant, the Lament, and legendary linear fusion rifles like the Threaded Needle. Though as I mentioned earlier, I didn't feel like I had to run any specific set of weapons here for success. These are just what I found to be the best options. Before diving into the dungeon, head to the Cosmodrome and visit Shah Han. He will have the And Outfly the Wolves exotic weapon quest. From here, you can launch the Grasp of Avarice dungeon from the Eternity on the Director. As you load in, head to the OG Loot Cave location directly in front of you. This is where you'll be met with your first mechanic, Burden of Riches. This mechanic is actually quite simple once you understand it, and will be present throughout the entirety of the dungeon. Within the loot cave, enemies will spawn up, and when you kill them, they will drop engrams that give you the Burdened by Riches debuff. You will want to collect these engrams and stand by the crystal to deposit them. If you let your Burdened by Riches timer run out, it will kill you. So simply clear ads, deposit the engrams, and once you've deposited enough of them, a hole will open in the floor of the cave, allowing you to move forward. As you drop down, there will be enemies on your way to the Rusted Gangplank encounter, our first platforming puzzle. When you enter the room, look right towards the two doors with switches on them. You want to open the left door because the other is a trap. When you open it, you'll want to watch out for the pressure plate on the ground by jumping over it and flipping the next switch. There are trapdoors and pressure plates scattered throughout this dungeon, so you're going to want to keep an eye out for them. A vault-like door will open at the back of the room, and as you enter, there will be a platform directly in front of you. These are actually pressure plates that you'll need to jump to and be ready to fall through to a hidden underneath room on the right-hand side. When activated, it will open up 6 fan vents at the top of the original room from which you entered. So you'll want to climb up, then make your way to the far set of vents on the right-hand side. There will be a pressure plate that will open a hatch above you, allowing us to climb up and move forward. This will lead you to yet another platforming area, where the objective is to scale upward until you find another switch that will lead you to our next puzzle. Flip the switch and a vent will be open on the other side of this little bridge. Head into the room, clear the ads, and flip the switch yet again. This will open another door across from you when you exit. You'll need to clear the ads and flip the switch in this room as well. Exit through the door on your right and jump to the platform directly across from you. There will be a hole in the ceiling that you will use to jump upstairs and activate the next switch. You'll know you're in the right place if there's a large glass window on your left-hand side. Flip the switch to spawn a Shrieker and open the large doors on the opposite side of the encounter, where you can exit to our next puzzle. We'll be dealing with levers yet again, but this time they introduce the dungeon's next recurring mechanic involving Scorch Cannons and Fallen Deposits. Head right and flip the switch at door number 1. This will open door number 3 on the opposite side of the room and spawn in several ads. Clear the room, then flip the switch at the back of room 3. This will open the doors at room 1, so head back, clear the room, and flip that switch. This will open room number 2. Kill the Vandal holding the Scorch Cannon, and take the Scorch Cannon from room 2 to door number 4. You will need to aim the Scorch Cannon at the center of this fallen deposit and spam it 3 times to open the door. This will be your exit out of this puzzle, but be wary of the trolling container heading down the stairs at Mach 7. There are little safe rooms on either side of the stairs, So take cover, then head to the top of the stairs to move on. Make your way down this corridor, and when you hit a dead end, turn around and follow the red glow above you. From here, simply jump across this scaffolding, and we arrive at our first boss, Phryzia the Insatiable. This encounter is actually quite simple and builds on everything we've learned about the dungeon so far. Start by clearing ads and killing the Scorch Vandal at the back of the room. Then shoot either the right or left deposits to open the doors. Behind these doors are ads that will drop the Burdened by Riches engrams. You will need to take these engrams and deposit them into the crystal at the front of the room from which you entered. You only want to open one door at a time, because if your teammates are in one of the rooms collecting engrams and you open the door on the other side, it will lock them in the other room and give them the Creeping Temptation debuff that will kill them. So I recommend having one person manage the Scorch Cannon to open the doors and clear ads, while your two teammates enter the rooms to collect engrams and deposit them into the crystal. If you're going to die to the Burden of Riches debuff, simply head to the crystal to cleanse yourself. Once you've deposited enough engrams into the crystal, the boss will become damageable. You should be able to one-phase this boss with weapons like Sleeper, linear fusions with Div, or Lament, but if you don't, simply rinse and repeat the process from phase 1 and kill the boss. This boss will drop a chest for your first loot of the dungeon. I personally had the Matadore drop from this, but I'm not fully able to confirm the loot table of each boss just yet. Head left and follow this corridor down to this massive doorway. This is a Sparrow encounter that will require you to deactivate mines within the timer shown on screen. You can extend this timer by triggering the switches on the ground, similar to those in Scourge of the Past. When you drive by these, it extends the timer by roughly 4 seconds. You will need to grab these to complete the encounter successfully. Start by having one person open the door, while the other two are on their Sparrows ready to head towards the A mine to deactivate it. Keep an eye out for the switches on the ground, and when you reach the minefield, have one person stay back while the other two people head forward to find the next set of switches and capture Zone B. You don't need to stay on the point for more than a second or two, but you will need to do a bit of a relay to help each other to the end of this encounter. Once you've deactivated mines A through D, this Sparrow encounter is complete, and you can use the crystals on the right hand side to make your way to the next encounter, the Sunken Lair. This is probably my favorite encounter of the entire dungeon, simply because it has some of the most unique mechanics we've seen in Destiny 2. The Scorch Cannons are back, but this time you'll need to use them to activate the gravity cannons that will launch you to the surrounding islands. You can reposition these cannons to aim at different locations around the arena. You want to find the island with the shielded servitor and ads on it, then clear the area and collect the Burden of Riches engrams. There will be a crystal at the center of these islands that you will deposit them in, and once you've deposited enough, it will drop the shield of the servitor, allowing you to kill it. This will turn it into a mine that will track towards that island's gravity cannon. Reposition the cannon to aim at the glowing knobs on what looks like a massive fallen hot air balloon in the center of the arena. It will detonate on impact and drop the health bar of the fallen barrier. You'll need to look out for the next random ad spawn location where another shielded servitor will spawn in. Rinse and repeat this process until the health bar is depleted, at which point all of the cannons will reposition to shoot you towards the fallen structure. There will be a second chest waiting for you as you land, so head down the stairs to your left, reposition the cannon to aim directly above you, and activate the gravity cannon to head into the fallen structure. When you reach the top of the lift, follow the red light up the ramp to the final boss room. It is here that we meet Captain Avarock, aka Tanix 9.0. This boss room takes all of the mechanics and puts them together for one final boss fight. As the encounter starts, two fallen mini-bosses will spawn in next to Avarock. You'll need to kill both of these to drop a huge stack of Burdened by Riches engrams that you can deposit into the crystal at the center of the room. Next, clear ads and look for the Scorch Vandal. When you kill it, look towards the center of the room and use the Scorch Cannon to shoot the fallen deposits on the walls surrounding the boss's platform. This will raise fallen drop pods that will drop a pinata of burden engrams on the ground. Collect these and deposit them into the crystal at the center of the arena. Rinse and repeat this process until you've deposited enough engrams to start DPS. There's nothing crazy about this boss fight. In fact, the boss kinda just stands there. Similar to the ogre in the first boss fight, Avarock can definitely be one-phased, but if you don't, simply rinse and repeat the steps from phase 1, and when the boss dies, the Grasp Grasp of Avarice dungeon is a GG. Completing the dungeon will unlock the next step of the Gjallarhorn quest. The boss will drop a wolf pack round, and the quest will ask you to head back to Gjallarhorn. You will need to collect 6 more wolf pack rounds by killing powerful fallen enemies within the Cosmodrome. I recommend splitting up from your fire team, as the drops are unfortunately RNG based on enemy final blows. We use the Exodus Garden 2A Lost Sector behind Gjallarhorn because it's loaded with yellow bar fallen. It should only take 2 to 3 runs to gather the necessary wolf pack rounds, and once you complete it, you can head back to Gjallarhorn and collect the rocket housing parts. Next, head over to Banshee to collect a trigger mechanism, then return to the Cosmodrome and complete the Exodus Garden 2A Lost Sector one more time for the targeting system. For the last and final step, head back to Gjallarhorn and enter the room directly under where you spawn in to assemble the parts, then talk to Gjallarhorn to collect your fully reconstructed Gjallarhorn. If you guys found this guide useful, a like really does help the channel grow. We're so close to 15K, and you can subscribe for more videos in the coming days, including the solo flawless dungeon guide and some other fun videos as well. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!